YouTube friends, foes, friends, YouTube, digital friends and real friends. I'm just doing this quick video to say I will be in Toronto at the Pickering nuclear power plant, and the 6 reactors that are operating, well, not operating, they're trying to get the whole thing licensed again for another 10 years. And I will be protesting Pickering. And on the 6th anniversary of Fukushima, I will be at the south end of Liverpool Road, Pickering Park Beach. Can you imagine that? They have a lovely beach right next to the power plant where you can swim and hang out and bathe in tritium water, tritium, which is water, H3O. Anyway, I just wanted to do this quickly, and anyone that's listening to me that's in Toronto and was not aware of this, tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of Fukushima, and people are meeting at this nuclear plant at the bottom of Liverpool Road. I'll put a little information below. It is organized by Angela Bischoff, who is the spearhead behind the Ontario Clean Air Alliance. She's an amazing activist, an incredible person. I hope to get her on a YouTube for a video on YouTube. I will talk to her a little bit about her own activism and what she's involved in. And I will be talking with some of the people there, whoever shows up. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow, so be warm, dress warm. And so this is the day before, and I just thought I'd put this out. It's a little late to tell people, but everybody has planned anyway. If they're going to do something, they're going to do it. They don't need me to tell them or anybody else to tell them. And I'm just going to follow up a little bit on my last video. The idea that this is an extermination, and there is a rationale. People are able to rationalize this. As always, as in history, when you look at major events where governments or the barbarians, whoever they might have been, rolled over the hills and decimated the countryside, they pillaged and they raped and they burned. And it's all for good fun, I guess. It's all rational because you got to pummel your enemy. And there's always a rationale behind misdeeds. Malfeasance always has its progenitors and exponents that are able to rationalize an extermination. And the tool that is being used in order to propagate and to facilitate this extermination, what I have said over and over in my videos, is culture. A culture that I call the culture of death, where people have been attracted to have a romance with the Grim Reaper, because there's nothing better than doing something that will end life. Like taking chemotherapy. It's like, it's part of the romance. Chemotherapy, radiological therapies that kill every cell in your body. Anyway, there is a rationale always behind extermination, and my position is not so much from the point of view of enlightening people to the information. The information is all out there. We all know what's happening. There are details to this which are very important to report. I highly appreciate, regard highly people that give us the nuts and bolts of this destruction. It's very important. But what I've been saying as well is that we're totally continuously, this small group of people on the planet, maybe 10, 20, 100,000, I don't know, always on the defensive. We're always defending ourselves against their bullets. We're dodging their bullets, physically dodging their bullets, and emotionally dodging their bullets through the P-arm that is culture. The culture in general is the tool that is used to rationalize the extermination, and we're always dodging. So my point is that we need to be the ones that create an alternate culture, an alternate mindset, something that actually works, not something that hasn't worked in thousands of years. It hasn't worked. No matter what brilliance you want to attach to something that hasn't worked, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I don't care if you're Harold Bloom, a brilliant critic on the meaning of the universe, in literature to regurgitate the literature of all those brilliant people, but it hasn't worked. And somebody, for example, I'm not just picking on him, but generally speaking, people that seem to have the insight have missed the age of fission. Now, how can you actually have any relative commentary or meaningful commentary on the times that we live in if you miss the most important thing? It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I'll be at the Pickering plant tomorrow at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. with hopefully quite a number of people. It's going to be cold, but let's see what happens. And my last comment today is something on this thing called Bitcoin. What a joke. I mean, people are actually talking about this bullshit currency called Bitcoin. Oh, cryptocurrency. They're really going to rule the world with the cryptocurrency. This is beautiful. Now, this currency is a complete fabrication. It is such bullshit. Oh, yeah, it's a limited amount. You know that you can break anything infinitely into smaller amounts? It's like when I lived in Spain just after I got there, there used to be something called a centime, which were 100 centimes in a peseta. And now a peseta actually turned out to be the same version as a centime, which used to be like a penny. And then the peseta was like the dollar, and you could get a pack of smokes for a peseta. But when I got there, it cost like 200 pesetas or $200 for a pack of smokes. If you had, so they just divide things into smaller versions. So people get off this Bitcoin thing. What a bunch of hooey that is. Yeah, this is really going to do. Pull the plug on the computer and where are your Bitcoins? It is such a joke. I mean, and the alternates that are coming in, always attaching themselves to the culture that hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. We need a new formula, which is why I really appreciate, to the extent to which her vision is one that I would associate myself with completely, the natural law vision. It makes a lot of sense. Cindy Courier, she's the daughter of Earth, doing fabulous videos on calling the bastards out, naming the names and saying we need to arrest these people. What courage, what fabulous courage. So just a few comments. Anyone that's in Toronto, I'll be at the Pickering nuclear station with, over here with my, don't go away, don't go away. I have my adjusted version of my trusty elephant. I'll have a pole, and then of course, stop Pickering, the next potential Fukushima. I'll be there, holding up my banner and doing a little bit of video stuff. I haven't been doing a lot of video stuff. I'm working on some new paintings, sort of collage type of paintings. My gallows, as you see behind me, the gallows and the groundwork for the gallows. Yeah, there's some plastic over it too. So keeping going, trying to keep my spirits up. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult, considering that we're trying to counter the rationalizing behind the extermination, which is something that a lot of people do, and the extent to which we comply. We need to resist this, and the way I find myself being able to resist is to create a part in my small enclave through my work, create a culture, create a vision that actually works. And it's based on caring. That's what I've always said. Even in my paintings, my fundamental essence, my being must be expressed in my caring. This is the work that needs to happen that works. And when you go to museums and you see all the stuff on the wall, the art now, 99% of everything that you'll see is just spectacle. Decorations, meaningless spectacle, because these people have not identified the age we're in. When Picasso painted Guernica, he identified that fascism was going to roll over Europe and destroy everything. He showed this. Guernica, check it out. It's the only valuable painting the bastard ever made. I mean, that was the quintessential painting for the last century. See you in Pickering.